Lecture series at the Courtenay and District Museum. This is Go. Somebody's got a birthday soon. More information on the birthday next week with Franco Noviello. I'm Mary Ruth Harris. We are here at the Courtenay and District Museum for today's show. And they have a fantastic lecture series. And the next one is coming up on Saturday, November 26th at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. In today's show, you're going to meet 3 of the authors that are involved in that presentation on Saturday. It's going to be a great show, and the lecture series is going to be fantastic. So get that on your calendar. We're going to begin today's show right here in the Comox Valley with some news from the construction front. Have a look. You're watching Go on Shaw TV Channel 4. I'm Mary Ruth Harris. Joining me is esteemed author Ian Kennedy, who's responsible for this wonderful piece of literature, The Life and Times of Joseph McPhee, Courtney's founding father. Where did the inspiration come for the book?
Well, the inspiration for the book came from the grandson of Joe McPhee, Bruce McPhee, and
okay.
He asked me to write the book, and so I did.
What was the most surprising thing for you during the writing of the book?
Surprising thing? Well, you know, every time you research a book, you're always fascinated by what you learn. Mm-hmm. And I went through umpteen newspapers and read lots of things. So, yeah, there was you're learning all the time. And the most surprising thing? There were a lot of them, but I don't know that I could pinpoint one particular one.
How did you come up with the title, Courtney's founding father?
Titles are always a difficult thing because you want to have a title that grabs people's attention.
Yes.
And while the book was about Joe McPhee, it was also about the whole history of the Comox Valley and Courtenay in particular.
Right.
And there had been, he's often been described as the father of Courtenay, but I thought that was rather cliched. But on thinking back about it, if I had to redo the title again, I might go with the father of Courtenay.
Instead
it has more
of the
grab.
Founding father.
Yeah,
Okay.
We worked on the title I worked on the title for quite a bit before I finally decided on that, and then on rethinking it, I think maybe we could have done something different, but there you go.
Now, what do you think of the lecture series here at the museum?
I've done quite a few of the lectures about the book, and I think the idea for me is to obviously tell about the book and also to introduce people to that there is a history in the Comox Valley.
Right.
I've done newcomers and I've done probus clubs and that kind of thing, and the newcomers people, they lap it up because they're getting an easy history, and it encourages some of them to buy the book and read more about it. I think it's very important for people to know about the history of where they live and what the foundation of the community is.
Right.
And that book does it for them.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it very much.
My pleasure entirely.
And now we are headed up to Campbell River, where Marjorie Greaves brings us Council Currents for Campbell River. Have a look. It's a new series that we're going to be doing every 2 weeks after the Campbell River Council. Welcome back. You're watching Go on Shaw TV Channel 4. I'm Mary Ruth Harris. Joining me, Deborah Griffiths, who is the executive director here at the Courtenay and District Museum. But in addition to that, she is an author, a co-author. Tell us a little bit about your book.
The book's title is Watershed Moments, a Pictorial History of Courtenay and District. And we have an incredible collection of glass plate negatives and images in the museum. And we've been looking at them for years and loving them every moment that we look at them. And we finally had a chance, with support from the federal government and from the city of Courtenay, in honor of the centennial, to actually put out a pictorial history of Courtenay and District.
Okay. And now there's also a lecture series to support various local authors. So let's talk about how that came about.
Well, we give presentations about the book,
Okay.
and we've gone to a number of service groups and give presentations here. We'll be giving one here the Saturday after next, and we'll give the date and time on that.
Okay.
And we just go over a review of the book and show people some of the images that are in it.
What do you hope that people who come to the lecture series will take away from that experience?
Well, it was an interesting process to work on it because we're used to deep research with footnotes, so that we have original sources for everything that we write about. But this, working with Harbor Publishing, is really a pleasure reading book. And so what came out of it was not a huge surprise, but a pleasant surprise to us, because people really like it for the images, and they like it for the fact that it is pleasure reading. It's not heavily academic, it's pleasure reading, but it's well researched.
Awesome. Well, Deborah, thank you so much. And we have a couple more interviews coming up a little bit later in the show. But right now, a feature brought to you by Franco Noviello about an artist and construction art. Have a look. We are at the Courtenay and District Museum, and joining me now is Christine Dickinson, who is also a co-author on Watershed Moments. Now, what was the experience like for you in the creation of that book?
I really thoroughly enjoyed the opportunity to share such lovely pictures with our community. These pictures belong to our community, and they had been exposed to them hardly at all. And so it was a real joy to be able to share them and also to investigate the pictures. They tell us an awful lot about the past. And so exploring that in the writing was also a really good experience.
And when they have the lecture series and you get the chance to actually talk to an audience and not just myself and a camera, what is that experience like for you, where you actually have live people there and you can engage with them?
I think what happens typically is that there's a lot of oohing at the pictures because they really are beautiful, and they're such good quality. Many of them are plate glass negatives, and so they come up extremely well.
So then it's not about the authors, it's about the pictures.
Well, really, that's why we wrote the book, was to be able to share those pictures. Yeah.
Now, if people were looking for, say, a unique Christmas gift, would this be an appropriate one?
I think it really would, because it's not an academic work. It's something that can be enjoyed by everybody, and anyone certainly who's interested in our area and its history would certainly get a lot from it, we think.
Thank you so much, Christine, for your time today. Really appreciate it. And good luck with the lecture series. And now we're going to hear from Stephen Watson from BC Hydro, and what he's going to share with us has absolutely nothing to do with the storms and all the havoc they've been wreaking on our watershed. Have a look. Thank you so much for watching Go. We've been here at the Courtenay and District Museum for this show. Now, with me is Catherine Chiba, and she's going to tell us all about the lecture series itself. So Saturday, November 26th.
That's right, yes.
And what's the time frame?
Okay, we're starting at 2 p.m. And what's going to happen is the fabulous Ian Kennedy is going to start with a lecture. Then we're going to have a refreshment break. And then the authors of Watershed Moments are going to give a little talk.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Now, will the gift shop be open as well for people to shop afterwards? Because Christmas is kind of coming.
Yeah, I like how you think. Yes, it will. Absolutely.
Okay, that's awesome. Now, what is the one thing about the lecture series that you like?
That's a tough one.
What's your favorite thing about having the authors up there chatting with the audience?
I think it's the feedback that we get.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
Awesome. So if you need something to do on November 26th, which you do because everything else has happened the weekend before with the Santa Claus parade and everything, that's all done and over with. So the 26th is wide open. So come and spend your afternoon here at the Courtenay and District Museum with all of the lovely authors that you've already met in the show. It's going to be a fantastic afternoon. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great week.